Yes, Governor. He's waiting for you at the outpost as usual. Governor?
The Thalmor are very active right now, Commander. Be careful.
Greetings, Governor. Yes, Governor. I have a special job for you. A little counter-espionage. One of the ways the Thalmor weaken the Empire is by the mistreatment of Talos worshippers. The Empire had to outlaw Talos worship at the end of the war, but the Emperor himself has a great deal of sympathy for Talos followers. After all, Cyberseptim founded the Empire. He is one of the Empire's heroes, and the Thalmor are stepping on his reputation. I have a few things in mind, actually. I promised you a chance to strike back at the Thalmor. Well, this is your first chance to do exactly that. I thought you would say that. This is what I have in mind. You're going to become a Talos worshipper, and somebody's going to tip off the Thalmors to your location. We are going to make it very dangerous for them to attempt to arrest Talos worshippers in the future. Exactly. We have operations all over the Empire, where agents are replacing real Talos worshippers. The moment the Thalmor turn up to make an arrest, an angry crowd of Talos sympathisers will appear and deal with them. The Talos sympathisers are agents. The Thalmor will not stand a chance. After today, the Thalmor are going to have to be a lot more careful when approaching followers of Talos. I'm sending you out to Anger's Mill, where you will wait for the Thalmor to arrest you. The moment they try, our angry mob of Talos followers will turn up and deal with them. Good luck, Governor. I'll be here if you need me, Governor.
You are under arrest for worshipping the outlawed Talos. You admit to your crime. Good. That makes this much simpler. Soldiers, since guilt is established, I sentence this Talos worshipper to death. Carry out the sentence.
Until you ever
Careful with that fire. Yes?
Strangers are always trouble.
Greetings, Governor. Well done. Thalmor Justicar patrols have been finding the local population all over the Empire rebelling against them. Some of the locals really did rebel against them, and I'm getting reports of attacks we did not organise happening all over Imperial territory. It will be a lot more dangerous for the Thalmor to try and arrest Talos worshippers from now on. Good work. Take this to cover your expenses. I'll be here if you need me, Governor.
Commander, I have a message for you. It is from a priest at the Temple of Talos in Windhelm. He said it was important. Here it is, Commander.
See you.
I don't care what the Thalmor say.
Greetings, Commander. How may the Nine help you? Yes, Commander. or do I call you Dragonborn? Straight down to business, I like that. I represent a group of law-abiding citizens of the Empire that found themselves outlawed at the end of the last Great War. We became aware of a Thalmor plot to kill you at Anga's Mill, and we were going to intervene, but, well, you know the rest. Yes, indeed. The peasants always were revolting, but we followed these peasants back to Helgen. Funny thing about those revolting peasants, they turned out to be Pentheus Acalatus carrying out an ambush against the Thalmor. Indeed, but I am not exactly unprotected. So, let me introduce you to some of my friends. Yes, friend, your enemies are our enemies. Once the Pentheus Acalatus revealed their true mission to us, it was decided to arrange a meeting between us so we might cooperate in this endeavor. We had a little priory in the south of Cyrodiil. It was one of the first places the Thalmor attacked when they invaded during the Great War. When the Empire declared Talos worship illegal, we became outlaws rather than give up our faith. You know your history. Good. It also makes us a highly trained military order outside of the direct control of the Empire. An order that is already at war with the Thalmor. We can confront the Thalmor at any time, in any place without drawing attention to the Pentheus Acalatus. Yes, the knights were undecided as to the true intentions of the Empire until they saw the agents of the Emperor attacking the Thalmor. Now we know. We are willing to work with the Empire as needed. I am the Divine Crusader, turned priest of the Nine. After the Thalmor destroyed our priory, the knights scattered and the divine relics they protected were lost for decades. The order disappeared until one day a priest turned up in Anvil, asking for worthy people to join him in a quest. He stood in the same spot as a priest of the Nine did during the Oblivion Crisis, and spoke the same words, asking for worthy people to join him. Yes, that is what I thought, but he convinced me to join him. His quest was to recover the lost artifacts of the Divine Crusader, relics lost during the Great War. Yes, together we re-established the Knights of the Nine and have been fighting the Thalmor all over the Empire. The old priest died years ago, and I have assumed his role as mentor for the Order. For an unbeliever, it might look that way, but consider this. Where did the original priest of the Nine come from 200 years ago? More interestingly, what happened to him afterwards? Part of the mystery of the Nine is the sudden appearance of a priest of the Nine during a time of crisis. Yes, usually when the Order has dispersed and is needed again, gathering the relics of the Divine Crusader is merely a test of faith. Before I answer, tell me, Commander, did you know the Septums, Raymonds, and Elysians were totally unrelated, yet they all shared the dragon blood? I just wondered if you had considered that point. To answer your first question, the old priest told me that the Order would play a vital role in restoring a fallen empire. He foretold the rise of a strong emperor who would go on to defeat the Thalmor. We have been searching for this person. Yes, I think so. You report back to Mr. Smith and tell him of his new allies. We will be here if you need us.
Greetings, Governor. The Knights of the Nine are back. Interesting. This will serve us well. We can hunt them publicly and give them vital missions privately. The perfect agents to use against the Thalmor. Tell me, Commander, do you know why they asked you about the old Dragon Emperors? So you are aware of your bloodline then? What the priest said was correct. Alesia, Remen and the Septim dynasties were all unrelated, yet they all had the divine blood of Akatosh. The dragon blood they all possessed marked them as chosen by Akatosh himself. Whilst the dragon blood alone did not make them emperors or found empires, the fact that they were chosen certainly made it easier to do. Yes, as do all dragonborn. We don't know if any existed before Alesia, but we know the ones that existed after Alesia. They were the rightful owners of the Storm Crown, which is the Greybeard's way of referring to the Imperial throne. I never said that. I said the Nine believe it. The gods work in mysterious ways. A priest that appears to re-establish an ancient order of knights when the Empire needs them the most. It sounds like something the elves would blame on the trickster. I'm no expert. You should probably have asked the priest, but the trickster is Lorcan. Priests believe Lorcan vanished whilst creating the world. Some believe he is the very heart of Nairn. Interestingly, he is also known as Shaw here in Skyrim. Indeed, perhaps you should ask around, find out more about this. In the meantime, I'll see what use we can put these knights to.
Blessings of the Eight Divines upon you. How may I help?
Yes?
Lorcan is a limitation. In creating Nairn, he destroyed or transformed the existing gods into the ones the world knows today. Each god's powers became limited. The Daedra laughed at the gods for giving up their power and created their own realms. The elves believe they were cast out of heaven by this act, and have called Lorcan the trickster ever since, hating him for what he had done.
Let us walk in the steps.
Some say Lorcan's heart is Nairn itself, and cannot be destroyed without destroying Nairn. The moons above Nairn are his flesh. He sees all. Others call him the missing god. Some believe he cannot stay long in any one place, due to the transformation he went through when creating Nairn. Another story tells of Lorcan leading armies of men against the elves a long time ago. He is defeated by the elves, who rip out his heart, but find they cannot destroy it, for Lorcan's heart is the heart of Nairn. So they hide it, so men may never find their god's heart, or use it against them. It is after these ancient events we start hearing about aspects of Lorcan appearing under different names to fight on the side of men. Names Lorcan has been associated with include Shizar, who is venerated in the Colovian West for helping fight the Aelids. Pelinal Whitestrake, also known as the Divine Crusader, also helped Alesia in the rebellion against the Aelids. It is almost certain that the Knights of the Nine you spoke of would have known this. In Skyrim, under Nordic culture, Lorcan is known as Shor. In Cyrodiil, he is called Shizar, and in Morrowind, Lorcan. Roughly 250 years after the Alessian rebellion against the Aelids, Wulfarth restored the traditional Nordic pantheon. After defeating the Alessian army at Glenumbria Moors in First Era 500, the old edicts were outlawed, their priests put to the stake. Wulfarth earned the name Shor's Tongue, and Ysmir, Dragon of the North, for this act. This is the time we hear the name Ysmir. Later, Wulfarth pleaded with Shor, the dead chieftain of the gods, to help when Orki sends Alduin to eat the Nords years away. Shor battled Alduin on the spirit plane and won. Wulfarth learned a new Thuum, which he used to restore his people's ages. But the effort aged him, and he died. Yet we know from this story, King Wulfarth was able to master a new Thuum quickly. which means King Wulfarth must have been Dragonborn too. Centuries later, Skyrim is under threat by the dwarves once again, when Dagoth tells the Nords he knows where the Heart of Shore can be found. The Heart of Shore was in Resdain, as Dagoth had promised, though in Resdain they call it the Heart of Lorkhan. The Tongues sung Shore's ghost into the world again. Shore gathered an army as he did of old. Then he sucked in the long-strewn ashes of King Wulfarth and remade him. Indeed, but in battle at Red Mountain, the Nerevar, Dumak Dwarf King, and Alandro Sul met Lorkhan in battle and defeated him. Lorkhan's heart was made solid by the blow from Nerevar's weapon Sunder, and cut out by his other weapon Keening. The Nords were defeated, and Wulfarth, the Ash King, who was unable to maintain his form without Shore's help, was blown back to Skyrim. Jurgen Windcaller blamed the defeat on the abuse of the voice, and started teaching Nords the way of the voice. Yes, centuries later, Wulfarth the Ash King is awoken once again by the rumblings of the Greybeards. Though the Empire had crumbled, there were rumours that a Chosen One would come to restore it. This new Emperor would defeat the Elves and rule a united Tamriel, but Wulfarth was not the Chosen One. Wulfarth, also known as Ysmir Dragon of the North, had been replaced by a new Chosen One. Kulkane, the King of Falkreath, was at war. History refers to him as Emperor Zero. Hjalti Earlybeard was his general. At the siege of Old Herolden one night, a storm came and visited Hjalti's camp. It spoke with him in his tent. At dawn, Hjalti went up to the gates, and the storm followed just above his head. Arrows could not penetrate the winds around him. He shouted down the walls of Old Herolden, and his men poured in. Yes, Old Herolden, which you may know as Sancretor, was the old seat of the Remen dynasty. After his victory, the Nords called Hjalti Earlybeard Hjalti Talos, or Stormcrown, a name you now hold. Then Kulkane was assassinated by Hjalti Talos, and made to look like Kulkane enemies had done it. Then Hjalti Talos adopted the name Tiber Septim, and founded the Septim dynasty. Wulfarth the Ash King appeared to Tiber as the Underking to help him with his campaign, and hoped to get Tiber to attack Morrowind. But when Tiber struck a deal with the Tribunal, the Underking felt betrayed and turned back to Ash. Tiber Septim became the new Ysmir Dragon of the North, and Wulfarth disappeared. When the Greybeards named you Ysmir Dragon of the North, they did so knowing what that meant. Tiber Septim battled the elves. King Wulfarth battled the elves. Both were Ysmir. Now we have a new threat, the Thalmor. More trouble from the elves, and here you are, Ysmir Dragon of the North, right on time for a new war. The Greybeard named you the heir to the Stormcrown, but as you now know, Stormcrown was a person's name. In this case, they meant you are the heir of Hjalti Talos, who wore a storm as a crown in battle. Yes, he was, and you are the heir of Tiber Septim, according to the Greybeards. They fear you will abuse the voice, as Wulfarth once did. It spelt disaster for the Nords. I would guess their goal this time is to put you on the right path to victory. By calling you Ysmir, Dragon of the North, the Greybeards send a message that raises certain expectations of you. First, you are the right hand of Shor himself, most hated amongst the elves. Second, people will expect you to fight the Thalmor and drive them from our lands. The Stormcrown refers to Tiber Septim and the storm that crowned him during the Battle of Old Herolden. But, since Talos' own name means Stormcrown, it also means you are his true heir. Here, take these books about Lorkhan and his aspects. You may find them interesting.
All right then.
Yes?
Governor? Mr. Smith has been in touch again, Commander. He has another mission for you, sir. Greetings, Governor. Good to see you again, Commander. I've been going over Agent Kelt's notes on the Thalmor activities inside Skyrim, and have identified 5 sleeper agents embedded in our cities. Long enough to do some serious damage, according to Agent Kelt. It is time we closed this spy ring. I want you to find and kill these 5 agents, and report back to me when the job is done. Longshore Bower in Solitude is the ringleader. He organises everything. Take him out and the sleeper cell dies. Greedy Woodhearth in Riften has been ensuring Riften taxes never reach the Jarl, forcing the Jarl to raise taxes to make up the difference. I believe Greedy's intention is to spread rebellion in Riften, as if Riften didn't have enough of that already. Raj Khan in Whiterun was trying to persuade the Jarl to join the Stormcloaks during the Civil War. You caused his plan to fail. Yes, Rollin Highholf has been pitting the Legion, the Jarl's own troops, and the Forsworn against each other in Markarth. His actions have caused us a great deal of trouble in the Reach. Taking him out will help stabilise the area a little. Topol Kilmore has been using the ban on Talos worship to stir rebellion against the Empire in Windhelm. Already several legionnaires have been stabbed or attacked by locals as a result of his actions. We must put a stop to it. A little too busy if you ask me, Commander. I need you to handle this carefully, Commander. The Empire does not officially conduct assassinations. Best leave your Imperial uniform behind on this one. If you have a disguise, such as a Dark Brotherhood disguise, that would be perfect. Good luck, Commander.
Better this one than me.
Greetings, Governor. Are all 5 sleeper agents dead? Excellent. One thing about the Thalmor is, they hit us where it hurts, every time. During the Great War, the Thalmor's initial success and the destruction of the Blades was all down to their superior spy master training. Imperial spy masters were mostly lords and ladies. The Thalmor introduced specialists, and it showed. They walked all over us. We are a new breed of Imperial spy masters. At least we have been since the Thalmor handed us our bollocks on a plate during the Great War. We reverse engineer the Thalmor's plans, deconstruct them, and then tinker with the details so they work in our favour. A little lesson the Thalmor taught us, and is now being used against them. I need you for those plans we cannot tinker with. Anyway, Commander, good work. Here is a little something to cover your expenses. Greetings, Governor.